Dad always said hard work would be rewarded, but that promise died with his final words to me. I spent 15 years building our family legacy, while Jordan barely showed up. Yet there I stood, watching them hand him everything we built together. The house, the cash, the company, all gone with a stroke of a pen. When Mom texted about the mortgage a month later, my reply was simple. Ask your heir. Before I tell you how I rebuilt from nothing, let me know where you are watching from, and hit that subscribe button. The familiar scent of pine trees and fresh-cut grass greeted me as I pulled into my childhood driveway. After 7 years away building my marketing career in Chicago, returning to Oak Ridge felt surreal. Not much had changed about our family estate except for the ostentatious water fountain that now dominated the front yard. That was new, and definitely my brother Jordan's doing. I parked beside his Maserati, another sign that something was off about our family finances. Last I heard, Matthews Construction was facing tough competition from newer firms with innovative approaches, yet here was evidence of lavish spending. Mom opened the door before I could knock, her arms outstretched, despite the worry lines etched deeper around her eyes. At 65, Sandra Matthews still maintained her elegant appearance, though her hair had gone completely silver. "Denver, sweetheart, you made it," she whispered, hugging me tightly. "Your father will be so pleased." That remained to be seen. Richard Matthews, age 68, and now battling severe heart failure, had made his disappointment in my departure abundantly clear. The doctors gave him 2 to 3 months at best. That news had been enough to bring me home despite everything. "Where is everyone?" I asked, following Mom through the expanded foyer. The renovation had doubled its size since I left, another questionable expense. "Abigail is finishing up at the office. Jordan is with your father in the study." My sister Abigail, 32, and brilliant with numbers, had become the company accountant shortly before I left. She had always been the mediator between Jordan and me, understanding both sides yet staying carefully neutral. When we reached the study, Jordan barely acknowledged my presence. At 38, my older brother had our father's imposing build and authoritative presence, but none of his work ethic from what I remembered. "The prodigal son returns," Jordan muttered, not looking up from his phone. Dad, however, did look up. The strong, intimidating man who had built Matthews Construction from nothing now appeared frail against the leather chair. His piercing blue eyes, though, remained unchanged. "Denver," he said, simply extending a hand that trembled slightly. "You are looking well." I shook his hand, feeling the weakness in his grip. "You too, Dad." That night at dinner, with Abigail finally joining us, the tension simmered beneath polite conversation. Mom served Dad's favorite pot roast, telling stories of neighborhood changes as if nothing was wrong. But everything was wrong. The family business I had helped build through the worst recession in decades was apparently being mismanaged, with money flowing to luxuries rather than operations. So Denver Dad finally addressed me directly. "I understand your marketing firm in Chicago is doing well." "It is. We just landed 3 major clients last quarter." "Good, good. Always knew you had talent. Shame you took it elsewhere when we needed you here." There it was, the abandonment narrative. "We have a family meeting tomorrow," Dad continued, ignoring Mom's warning glance, "with Harrison, our lawyer, to discuss the future." I nodded, hoping this might be a chance to reconcile. "I look forward to it." Later that night, unable to sleep, I found myself in the basement going through old files. There they were, my marketing strategies that had tripled company value between 2008 and 2015. The client acquisition plans Jordan had ridiculed, then implemented after I left. Photos of me at 22, having sacrificed my college scholarship to work full-time when Dad first had health problems. 15 years of my life invested in Matthews Construction. 15 years I had given to our family legacy, while Jordan took extended vacations and claimed credit for my innovations. I had dreamed of the 3 of us siblings running the company together someday. Now I wondered what would be left to run. Harrison Mills, our family lawyer for 20 years, arrived promptly at 9 the next morning. His expression was solemn as we gathered in Dad's study, the heavy oak doors closed for privacy. "Thank you all for being here," Dad began, his voice stronger than it had been at dinner. "As you know, my condition has worsened. Harrison and I have been finalizing my affairs." Mom dabbed at her eyes with a tissue. Abigail reached for her hand while Jordan sat straighter, already positioning himself at Dad's right side. "Denver, I appreciate you coming home for this," Dad continued. "There are decisions to be made about the house, the company, and our family assets." I nodded, expecting a rational division of responsibilities based on our skills and contributions. Jordan knew construction, but lacked financial discipline. Abigail excelled at accounting. My marketing expertise had once been the company's growth engine. Together, we could preserve what Dad had built. After considerable thought, Dad said, looking directly at me, "I have decided that Jordan will inherit majority control of Matthew's construction, the family home, and the bulk of my liquid assets." The room went silent. I blinked, certain I had misheard. "Your brother deserves it," Dad continued firmly. "He stayed loyal while you chased your own dreams." My mind raced back to the countless nights I had worked until dawn saving clients Jordan had neglected. The recession years when I developed the emergency strategy that kept us afloat while Jordan bought a boat. The college scholarship I declined when Dad first got sick. "Dad," I started carefully, "I understand you value Jordan's loyalty. But the company's success over the past 15 years came largely from marketing strategies and client relationships I built." Dad waved his hand dismissively. "You left Denver. Jordan stayed. Loyalty matters in this family." I looked to Mom, who averted her eyes. Abigail appeared genuinely shocked, her financial mind likely calculating the disaster this decision would bring. "What about Abigail?" I asked. "She will receive a financial settlement, as will you," Harrison interjected, looking uncomfortable as he slid documents across the table. The papers detailed a token payment to me and Abigail, while Jordan received everything of substance: the family home where 3 generations of Matthews had lived, the company I had helped build, the investment accounts, all going to Jordan, who now wore an unmistakable smirk. "This cannot be what you really want," I said to Dad. "The company needs all 3 of us." "What the company needs," Jordan interrupted, "is clear leadership without constant questioning." "Something you never understood, Denver. Clear leadership. The company has lost 4 major clients since I left. Employee turnover is at record levels. You mortgaged properties to buy luxury items. That is not leadership." Dad's face darkened. "You have always undermined your brother's authority. Always thought you knew better. Because the numbers proved I did. Look at the company valuation before and after I left." Harrison cleared his throat. "I did express similar concerns about company stability under the proposed arrangement, Richard. The decision is made," Dad stated flatly. "Jordan has kept me informed of company operations daily. He has demonstrated commitment." Denver walked away when he disagreed with my decisions. That says everything about character. The truth hit me then. Jordan had been poisoning Dad's perception for years, especially during his illness. Every failure reframed as innovation. Every poor decision justified. Every success credited to himself. "You need to sign these papers," Dad said, renouncing any future claims on the business or property. I looked at the documents, then at my brother's triumphant expression. "I need time to review these." "There is nothing to review," Jordan snapped. "Unless you plan to challenge a dying man's wishes," Mom finally spoke. "Please, Denver. Your father has made his decision. Let us have peace in his final months." Later, Abigail found me in the garden. "This is insane," she whispered. "Jordan has been manipulating Dad for years. The company is in serious trouble financially, despite what they are showing. You knew I suspected. Jordan restricted my access to certain accounts 6 months ago. Called it streamlining. I have been trying to piece things together, but..." She glanced toward the house. "Be careful what you say here. Jordan has Dad convinced you are just jealous of his success." 3 days later, I stood in Dad's study again. The signing ceremony. The official disinheritance. I had made one last attempt to speak privately with Dad that morning to help him understand what Jordan was doing to our family legacy. His response cut deeper than any previous rejection. "You made your choice when you left," he had said. His breathing labored, but his resolve firm. "Jordan deserves everything for staying loyal." Now, watching Jordan position himself behind Dad's desk as if he already owned it, I felt decades of devotion crumbling inside me. The signing pen felt heavy in my hand. Before I sign, I said I want to address the company financials. Jordan's smile faltered. That is not relevant to today's proceedings. Actually, it is. I pulled out documents Abigail had secretly provided. These show substantial unauthorized withdrawals from company accounts. Mortgages taken against company properties for personal expenses. Client retainers used for non-business purchases. Dad frowned. What is he talking about? Jordan, desperate accusations from someone who abandoned ship years ago. Jordan replied smoothly. Denver cannot accept that you chose me. These are bank records, I insisted. The family home has a second mortgage taken out 3 months ago. Over $400,000. Mom gasped. Jordan, you said that money was for the new office building. It was an investment opportunity, Jordan snapped. Everything is under control. I turned to Harrison. As family lawyer, are you comfortable facilitating the transfer of a company that may be insolvent due to mismanagement? Harrison adjusted his glasses nervously. These are serious allegations that warrant investigation before proceeding. Enough. Dad slammed his hand on the desk. I will not have my final wishes questioned by someone who chose to walk away from his family obligations. I did not walk away. I finally exploded. I left because Jordan was systematically undermining everything I built here, and you refused to see it. I built the client relationships that sustained this company. I created the marketing that tripled our valuation. I sacrificed my own dreams repeatedly for this family. The room fell silent. Dad's face had gone pale. Whether from anger or his condition, I could not tell. Sign the papers, he said quietly, or consider yourself completely cut off from this family. That night dinner was a silent, tense affair. I picked at my food, mind racing with impossible options. Fight a legal battle against my dying father. Watch Jordan. Destroy everything we built. Sacrifice my dignity by accepting the injustice. I found some interesting files today. Jordan announced, breaking the silence. Seems Denver was planning to start a competing business before he left 7 years ago. That is a lie, I said immediately. I have the business plan. Your signature, dated 3 months before your dramatic exit. The business plan. My contingency option that I never implemented out of family loyalty. How had he found it? You went through my personal files, I demanded. They were company property left on premises. Dad looked at me with renewed disappointment. You were going to compete against your own family. I never acted on it. Unlike Jordan, who has actually been siphoning company resources for years. Enough, Mom cried. Please, can we not have peace? Denver, your father, has made his decision. Jordan, stop antagonizing your brother. Peace requires justice, I replied quietly. And there is none here. Back in my childhood bedroom, I found myself packing my belongings. A loyal employee had called warning me that Jordan planned to sell off equipment from our largest project site tomorrow. The company I had helped build was being dismantled by my own brother, with my father's blessing. At midnight, Abigail knocked softly on my door. You are leaving, she said, not a question. I cannot watch this happen. She handed me a flash drive. Company financials, client contacts, evidence of what Jordan has been doing. I made copies. Why are you helping me? Because you built something worth saving, and Jordan is destroying it. She hugged me tightly. I will try to mitigate the damage from inside as long as I can. Mom found me loading my car at 1 a.m. Her eyes were red from crying. Please understand, she whispered. Your father believes he is doing the right thing. By rewarding the son who has been lying to him, by punishing the son who actually built the business. I am too weak to stand up to them, she admitted. I always have been. I hugged her one last time. You will regret not speaking the truth, Mom. When the money runs out and Jordan has sold everything of value, you will remember this moment. The next morning I signed the papers under protest, stating my objections for the record. Jordan's smile could not have been wider. I truly hope you prove me wrong, I told him, as I handed the pen back to Harrison. For the sake of every employee and client who depends on this company. Always the dramatic one, Jordan replied. Enjoy your life in Chicago. We will be fine without you. We always have been. As I turned to leave, Dad called my name. For a moment I thought perhaps he had reconsidered. Denver. Yes, Dad. I hope someday you understand that everything I built was for this family. Everything. I nodded. I understand perfectly. I just never realized I was not considered part of that family. With those words, I walked away from Matthews Construction, and my inheritance carrying only what fit in my car, and the knowledge that I had built something valuable once, and could do it again. The North Star Motel charged $40 a night, and had questionable water pressure, but it offered something priceless: distance from my family's betrayal. I spent that first week taking inventory of my resources and connections, creating a strategic plan, while my anger still burned hot enough to fuel action. I had savings industry knowledge and, most importantly, relationships with clients who had valued my work before Jordan pushed me out. Clients who, according to Abigail's files, had been neglecting their Matthews Construction contracts due to poor service. My phone rang constantly with family numbers I ignored. Jordan, Mom, even Dad once. Only Abigail received responses, her text updates about company affairs becoming increasingly dire. Jordan fired Tom and Sarah. Today, she wrote, 2 weeks after I left, naming 2 employees who had been with the company since its founding. Said they were loyal to you, not him. 3 weeks in, I registered Denver Matthews Consulting and began reaching out to former clients. Not to poach business, I told myself, but to check in professionally. The responses were revealing. Matthews Construction has changed, said Harold Jensen, whose retail developments had been our biggest account. Quality is down. Deadlines missed. Your brother promised to handle our expansion personally, then disappeared for 2 weeks during crucial foundation work. I met with 5 former clients that first month each meeting, reinforcing what I already knew: Jordan was running the company into the ground. Each also ended with the same question. Would you consider taking on our next project yourself? My first contract came from Westlake Properties, a client Jordan had insulted during negotiations. The project was small but symbolic, located just 3 blocks from Matthews Construction headquarters. I hired Tom and Sarah immediately. Half the staff is looking for exits, Tom told me as we reviewed plans. Jordan cut benefits last week, saying cash flow issues required temporary measures. Building a competing business from scratch at 35 was grueling. I worked 18-hour days, slept on a pull-out couch in my tiny rented office, and poured every dollar back into equipment and hiring. But with each employee Jordan mistreated, who joined my team with each client, who switched allegiance after broken promises, my company grew stronger. I maintained radio silence with my family until exactly 1 month after I left, when my phone lit up with a text from Mom: mortgages due, bank calling daily. Your father too proud to ask for help. My reply was simple and took only seconds to compose. Ask your heir. 3 hours later, Abigail called. That was cold, Denver. Was it inaccurate? No, she sighed. Jordan mortgaged everything to the hilt. Dad finally saw the financial statements yesterday. He went pale, Denver. I thought he might have another heart attack. And what did Jordan say? That it was temporary, market fluctuations, that he needed to leverage assets for growth opportunities. Dad pretended to believe him, but I could see the doubt. Not my problem anymore, I said, though. My stomach twisted painfully. They made their choice. 6 weeks after leaving, I landed my first major contract, outbidding Matthews Construction for a downtown office complex. The client cited our superior project management and transparent communication as deciding factors. The same day, Abigail texted Jordan selling equipment from Miller Project. Client threatening lawsuit. I focused on building rather than revenge, creating the company culture I had always envisioned. Profit sharing for employees. Recognition for innovations. Transparent financials. The values Dad had originally instilled before Jordan corrupted them. 2 months in, Denver Matthews Consulting had 15 employees, 3 major projects, and a growing reputation for excellence. Matthews Construction had laid off 30% of its workforce and was rumored to be missing payroll. Dad knows now, Abigail told me during our weekly call. Jordan cannot hide it anymore. The main office building is being foreclosed on next month. And how is Dad taking it? His health is worse. Seeing his legacy crumble. Her voice broke. He asked about you yesterday. First time he has mentioned your name since you left. A small part of me wanted to help, to step in and save what remained of the family business. The wiser part remembered standing in that study being told I deserved nothing of what I had helped build. 3 months after I left, Abigail finally reached her breaking point with Jordan. He accused me of sabotage when I showed Dad the real financial statements, she told me, voice shaking with anger. Called me a traitor to the family. What did Dad say? Nothing. Just stared out the window. I think he finally understands what Jordan has done, but it is too late. I offered her a position with my company immediately. You were never the problem, Abby. We could use a financial director with your skills. The next day, she accepted. The day after that, I received a text from Jordan for the first time. You turned our sister against me too. Hope you are satisfied with destroying this family. I did not respond. Actions had consequences, and Jordan was finally facing his. 4 months after leaving, I sat across from Harold Jensen as he signed a contract making Denver Matthews Consulting his exclusive development partner for the next 5 years. Your father built a good company once, he said, sliding the papers back to me. Shame how it ended. Some legacies have to be rebuilt, I replied. That night, Mom called in tears. The bank is foreclosing on the house next week. Your father cannot take the stress, his doctor says. Mom, I interrupted gently. I am sorry about Dad's health. Truly. But I warned everyone what would happen with Jordan in charge. We need your help, Denver. Please. 5 months ago, those words would have sent me racing home to fix everything. Now they prompted a different response. I will help you find a place to live, Mom. I will make sure you have what you need. But I will not bail out Jordan, and I will not save the company that was taken from me. 6 months after leaving Matthews Construction, I stood at the bankruptcy auction, watching as the remaining assets of my family's once proud company sold for pennies on the dollar. I purchased the original office building where I had started my career, along with equipment I knew would serve my growing business well. Dad had passed away 2 weeks earlier. His funeral had been small, somber, held in the garden of my aunt's house, since the family home was now bank property. I stood at the back during the service, honoring the father I had loved, while acknowledging the man who had betrayed me. Jordan did not meet my eyes once. Mom had moved in with my aunt temporarily. I had quietly arranged for a small condo nearby to be purchased in her name, giving her independence without the burden of decisions she had avoided making for decades. When I approached her after the funeral, her eyes filled with tears. Your father regretted it, Denver. At the end, he knew he had made a terrible mistake. Did he say that he did not need to? I knew. Perhaps that was true. Perhaps Dad had realized his error in judgment too late to correct it. Or perhaps Mom was rewriting history to ease her own complicity. Either way, it changed nothing about the present. Jordan's collapse had been spectacular and complete. The mansion he had purchased with company funds was in foreclosure, his Maserati repossessed, his reputation in the industry destroyed. I had heard he was living in a friend's guest room, drinking heavily and blaming everyone but himself for his failures. Standing in what was once again my office, now under the Denver Matthews Consulting sign, I reflected on the painful journey of the past year. The betrayal had nearly broken me, but it had also freed me to build something better, something truly mine. Abigail thrived as my financial director, her natural talents finally recognized and valued. We had rehired many of the loyal employees Jordan had discarded, creating a company culture based on the original values Dad had taught us before ambition corrupted his vision. Denver, Abigail said, entering my office with a stack of papers. Quarterly projections are ready for review. We are tracking 20% above forecast. Thanks, Abby. I smiled at my sister, grateful that at least one family relationship had survived the implosion. My phone buzzed with a text message. Jordan, for the first time in months, I know I have no right to ask, but I need help. Please. 6 months ago, I would have deleted the message instantly. Now, with distance and perspective, I felt something unexpected. Not forgiveness exactly, but a willingness to consider that people can change when truly humbled. My response was measured. I cannot give you money or a position of authority. But if you are willing to start at the bottom and earn trust, we can talk. The lessons I had learned through this ordeal had shaped my approach to both business and relationships. Trust must be earned, not assumed. Loyalty goes both ways. True wealth lies in integrity and the respect of those who know your work, not in what you inherit. As our company continued to grow, I found myself mentoring young entrepreneurs, sharing the painful wisdom I had gained. Build something that reflects your values, I would tell them. create the professional family you wish you had. The greatest irony was that by losing my inheritance, I had found my true legacy. Not in buildings or bank accounts, but in the business principles and relationships I had cultivated. In the end, I had built something more valuable than what was taken from me. Have you ever had to rebuild your life after a betrayal? I would love to hear your stories in the comments below. Remember that sometimes losing what you thought you needed can lead to gaining what you truly deserve. If this story resonated with you, please hit that subscribe button and share with someone who might need to hear that setbacks can become setups for something better. Thanks for listening, and remember that your true worth is never determined by those who fail to see your value.